Namaste. So today we are going to see the basic aspects of education in the West. So in the last few sessions, we are discussing about Indian context of education. So today we will see what the aspects of education in the Western countries in general. So the concept of education in general, from literacy to education. So literacy does not mean education or educated. So a literate person may not be an educated person. So literacy is the base and education is an end. Because it's a long way, or it is something highest in a human life. An educated person is far higher than that of a literate person. It's the basic concept not only in these Western countries, but everywhere it is like that. And specifically, we are talking about the Western education. The most prominent feature is active learner participation. So, the process of education will be progressing through active learner participation. Learner participation is highly important. Learner uh, should be actively involved in all activities, not a passive listener. Then there will be scope for independent learning. So learning is the responsibility of learners. So each individual is responsible for her or his own learning. That's another aspect. Understanding is more important than memorizing. So in Western education, they gave prominence to understanding, to understand things than mere memorization. Rote memorization is not supported, than learning for understanding things, because understanding is inevitable for applying. And the classrooms are democratic. Classroom activities are democratic. Democratic in the sense that when we are talking about democracy in Indian context, we are uh, thinking about some power structure and all regarding the nation and all. The democracy in classroom is entirely different. Whether learners have the freedom to express their views, the least voices shall be heard in the classroom. There is no scope for majority in a classroom. Instead, that the opinions and experiences of each and every in the classroom shall be shared properly and attended properly. And such classrooms are democratic classrooms. So in in Western classrooms, generally the learners will have an opportunity to express. That approachability to teachers is higher than in an Indian context. It is not a teacher oriented classroom. That's why it is termed as democratic classrooms. Then individual plan for curriculum. Though there is a common curriculum, a pattern of curriculum, each individual shall prepare a plan for her own or his own progress through the curriculum, what all activities, some specialization they require to uh, select and work with. And these are some of the basic aspects in the concept of education in the West. The most prominent one, of course, it's the learner participation, independent thinking, emphasis on understanding, then classroom context as democratic and individual plan for curriculum, and the different elements in their education. Students as contributors, not recipients. So that's why we already seen that students are not passive, they are active. They shall have to contribute something. The basic function of democracy itself is that we have to contribute something. So students have a responsibility in their own learning. They decide what they want or to what extent they have to learn. So they have to contribute for. So their contributions are highly credited. Then students have the freedom to challenge the existing ideas. So it's another element. It's not like simply memorizing some theories and all, but instead they can question why this is so and what causes this. Shall we do it in another way? In such an alternative, suggesting alternatives and challenging the existing ideas and proposals. Then it's an affair of individual. That's another peculiarity which stress again on learner responsibility. It is the learner who decide whether he or she should learn for enroll for some courses, some programs, etc. It's not the family decides. It is not the affair of the family. But in Indian context, it is usually an affair of the family. A, a student from a family got highly educated. It is considered as the pride of that family. And it is not like that there. Then an institutionalized learning. Institutionalized learning is actually evolved in a Western system of education and it has been propagated world over. So, very well established institutions, educational institutions all over. Then, after industrialization, industrial revolution, the education is streamlined from a generalized education. It's streamlined to developing a workforce for the industries and to developing employability skills. In India also we are now in the recent time we can see that the education is more focused on employability. So that's essentially it's good to have some quality skills for each and every jobs. So that there shall be a professional approach from the part of the workforce. Then there shall be certification and grading. Certification and grading is also essential. And that's why here also we can see our assessment system moving towards a grading system. GPA, etc. came over to India also, in Indian universities also, at par with the universities in Western countries. And the importance of mass education, education for all, of all ages, in all classes, all people, because education is that significance of education is properly understood in those countries, and by providing adequate facilities for education for all, help those countries, many countries, to develop their national status as developed countries. Because education will help us to eradicate the first priority, eradication of poverty. So that's usually linked with education. So that mass education again has been an agenda for Western world, and these are some of the important elements there, important areas in which the Western system gave emphasis. So when we compare both this Indian and Western system, we can see many similarities, and there of course have so many differences that we can see in another presentation. So thanks for watching this presentation.